Stupid little. Good afternoon. I'm in some slightly different scenery for this one today. This isn't my house. This is somebody else's. It's not even a house. It's a flat. It's not even a flat. It's student accommodation. I'll be honest. I'm visiting my girlfriend this weekend, and she's left me alone for a couple of hours. So I've got some time to kill. And I've been looking at some upcoming video games in the next sort of month or so, and I'm very excited for one in particular. It's a series that I've been a massive fan of for a lot of years, and it's Gran Turismo. Allegedly, it's coming out on the 4th of March this year, and anyone that knows Polyphony Digital, their relationship with release dates is sometimes fragile. Gran Turismo Sport was delayed by a mere sort of 9 months before they actually released it. And it was a great game, but it wasn't quite what I was expecting. And it was almost a bit of a departure from the mainline series. And I think, looking back, that was intentional as to why they didn't call that Gran Turismo 7. It was very much an online-focused game. And I feel like the sort of kickback from the community regarding that was taken into account by Polyphony Digital pretty rapidly. There was never originally a campaign mode in the game. It was almost entirely online sport. There was no semblance of any sort of campaign mode at all. They never, in fairness, marketed it as an original type game. They never said it was going to be like Gran Turismo 5 or 6. And it wasn't, because they completely removed GT World. But in Gran Turismo 7, it's back. And that is seriously good news for anyone that's a fan of the series or has been. Because I think Gran Turismo is the king of the racing simulator, not game. I think that's something that Polyphony are very keen to get across in their advertising campaigns, that it's not actually a game. It is obviously a game, but they prefer to market it as a simulator because it's very realistic. It's kind of similar to the way that the Dirt franchise of games has its own spin-off series. The Dirt Rally franchise being for the hardcore rally enthusiasts rather than people that just like doing demolition derbies with stupid, ridiculous coloured cars. I think it's similar to that in a way that you can do ridiculous dirt rallies in Gran Turismo 7. You can do drift races. They're putting drag races in the game, as they mentioned in their longer gameplay trailer they released recently. This is what the music rally and drag race thing is for. The music rally is essentially a checkpoint rally, but you can choose which music that you want, and you'll get a certain amount of beats before your time expires, and you hit the checkpoints and you increase your time. It's a bit weird. It's like a time trial, but to music, which, fine. That sounds like it actually could be quite fun. But I can't see myself spending a lot of time on that. What I will be looking forward to is the endurance races, because they've always been amazing on the Gran Turismo series. I think Gran Turismo Sport, when it did get around to putting in races like that, it really did excel. And I feel like that's only going to get better on GT7 as they push even more realism. But the GT world is coming back, and that's a big thing, because the GT world is the classic kooky mode where you basically live a real life as a real racer. You have to buy your second-hand cars. You have to take them in for oil change services. You can get your car washed. You can change the paint colour. You could do similar things on GT Sport, but it wasn't quite there. What I mean by that is they took a lot of the more interesting, slightly weird and unnecessary bits, perhaps, out of the game mode, which streamlined the play, but also made it feel a lot less real. It's a lot less personal. It doesn't really feel like you're driving your own cars on the GT Sport mode, which is something that I feel like was a massive loss from the previous iteration of the games. I mean, as a kid, one thing that I really always enjoyed doing was being able to imagine it was me driving the car, and it was my car and my career. I didn't really get that, especially with the way that GT Sport showered you with cars after driving 26 miles in a day. I can see what they were going for. It was a 26.2 mile daily workout, they called it. That's a marathon. I get it. It's a play on words. Haha, very funny. But 26.2 miles in a racing car, that's about 3 minutes. It's a bit crap. They just showered you with gift cars, and it almost cheapened the experience of going from the bottom to the top, because it could give you a Volkswagen Beetle, or the next minute it can give you a Bugatti Veyron. It really was as broad ranging as that, and it killed a little bit for me. But it looks like GT7 is going to move away from that again and be a bit more about you and your career whilst maintaining the arcade mode. And I just think with GT Sport, that was a hangover from not really being a single player focused game from the start. So I really do think that this could be a return to normality for the franchise, and I really hope that it is. I hope they release it on the 4th of March. They're going to release it on PS4 and PS5. That's a good call. No one's got a PS5 that I know. One of my friends has a PS5, and I think they're the luckiest man alive. They don't make enough PS5s at the minute. They were originally only going to release GT7 on the PS5, but I think over time they realised the supply issues with those consoles. They thought, best release it on PS4. They're limiting their own market. PS3, forget that. No one cares about that anymore. I think they're actually taking the PlayStation Store down for the PlayStation 3 console now because no one uses it anymore, which is fine. It's a 16-year-old console. Jesus. That makes me feel old. In summary, Gran Turismo 7, 4th of March 2022, PS4, PS5, very excited. It looks like it's going to be a return to the main line of the series. And honestly, that's the best thing they could have done.